Florida Congressman Carlos Curbelo says it is time to change the benefits aspect of the Cuban Adjustment Act. There's been a growing number of critics of the law who say that recently arrived Cubans are abusing it. Hatzel Vela is in the newsroom now with the details.
Well, Victor, it's not the first time the Cuban-American Congressman Carlos Curbelo talks about reform when it comes to the abuses to the Cuban Adjustment Act. This time, though, he is filing a bill called the Cuban Immigrant Work Opportunity Act.
I'm Congressman Carlos Curbelo.
The Republican, who is Cuban-American, says a bill he recently introduced will fix a provision in the Refugee Education Assistance Act of 1980 that Curbelo says gives Cuban access to federal benefits like Social Security and other welfare benefits.
Regrettably, non-refugee Cubans have been collecting benefits from this program for years, some while living in Cuba. Others receive more in monthly benefits than American retirees who worked for decades in our country.
Curbelo calls it a blatant abuse that must end. What he's calling the Cuban Immigrant Work Opportunity Act will do the following. 1. It allows Cubans to work in the U.S. It also preserves access to the Refugee Resettlement Program for politically persecuted Cubans. And it eliminates abuses of the program. If it becomes law, the bill would not apply to Cubans already living in the U.S. It does not change the Cuban Adjustment Act and does not restrict Cubans from visiting the island or financially helping their families.
Like asylum seekers from all over the world, those Cubans seeking public assistance benefits will have to demonstrate that they left Cuba fleeing political persecution and are unable to return under the current totalitarian regime.
Republican Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who is highly critical of the new U.S.-Cuba ties, says the bill is a positive step forward in curbing the abuse of our taxpayer-funded government programs. However, the root cause of this abuse is the Castro regime, which has fabricated this crisis. All right, so what happens next? Well, the bill now heads to committee, and we will be closely watching what happens now. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News.